Our first presentation today is not a long one. We've got about, I think it's about 12, 13 minutes, but is an excellent presentation that was put together by Maribel Martinez, who has traveled the world with her dad. She's been very lucky to do so. She went to Greece and she tells her dad all these ancient places that she wants to go. And he says, chill out. She has a palate for food and a courage to try things that I won't eat. What I'm trying to say is she is cultured and worldly and amazing and super smart. So I can't really say enough about it, but she gave this presentation at Esotericon just a few months ago. And it was so amazing that I think only because maybe I was there in person, I might have asked Joe first, but Brian Simmons of Attleboro Macon also contacted Joe right away and said, can I ask Maribel if she would do this for us at the next Masonicon? And so she was excited, said yes, and Joe said yes, and Barb said yes. So we're really excited to be able to show this video here. And this is recorded from the North Carolina Lodge of Research when she presented on the Refracted Light Facebook group. So my thanks to Joe for sending us a video clip. Bear with me when I put together like a little montage thing here. It is super loud, so I got to turn it down and then turn it up so you can hear Maribel, okay? So my fault on the technology, but everybody at home should be good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maribel Martinez, and I'm a Rainbow Girl here in Virginia. And I want to thank you so much for coming tonight. I've been a Rainbow Girl for over 4 years, and I've recently been installed to as the Sister of Faith, which means that in a couple of years, I may be elected to the position of Worthy Advisor. Rainbow Girls is a Masonic youth organization for ladies that teaches girls the lessons of leadership, teamwork, selfless service, and preparation for acting like a responsible adult. Rainbow Girls welcomes girls from ages 11 to 20, regardless of race or religious background. Bringing people together of different backgrounds and beliefs makes us an open and inclusive place for girls to grow and learn. Today I'm going to talk to you about the rainbow, what it symbolizes in Rainbow Girls, what the individual colors represent, and why it is such an important symbol in other places. During the opening of a rainbow assembly, we describe what the symbol of Rainbow Girls is, which is, strangely enough, the rainbow. We go into more detail about how the rainbow is a symbol of the promise to God to his chosen people that he will never again destroy the world by flood. The promise is found in many books of faith, but we find it here in the Holy Bible, in the book of Genesis. We describe the rainbow in more detail in our initiation rituals, which I can't get into too much here. But I can tell you that each color of the rainbow symbolizes an aspect of what makes a rainbow girl special and a useful member of society. Red is the color of the station of love, and love for our families and for all mankind is an important lesson to learn. Love isn't just romantic stuff, but it's a deeper feeling that we receive from our Creator, which lets us share how he feels with everyone around us. Orange is the color of the station of religion. Through religion, we learn about the love our Creator has for us and how we can share that love through caring for others, performing service, and being true to what we believe. Yellow is the color of the station of nature. Yellow symbolizes the sun, the source of life, and what gives life strength and energy. We learned during initiation that in the quiet of the outdoors, away from televisions, cell phones, and other distractions, that we can truly hear our Creator in the sounds and the silence of nature. Green is the color of the station of immortality. In this lesson, strange as it may sound, we remind the young lady that life here is finite and will one day end. We learn that death comes for us all, no matter how young or how old, and that we must use the other lessons that we learn, that even though We must use the lessons we learned to realize that even though our time here is short, there is an immortality that comes after this world. Blue is the color of the station of fidelity. Here we learned that fidelity is our greatest example of character we could ever hope to show. Trust in our families, our rainbow sisters, and the world at large all show others that we are people of good character. Having faith and confidence in those you care for, and they for you, makes your family larger with every person whose trust you earn. Indigo is the color of the station of patriotism. Here we learn that duty to our country and our loved ones is one of the cornerstones of a great nation. We can build a better nation by believing and living by the ideas that created this nation, and those ideas that people have defended over hundreds of years with their own blood. A patriot is someone who stands up for the hopes and dreams of a nation, and not for what political power is in charge that week. Violet is the color of the station of service. Service is the goal of all other colors, and through service do we become a better person. Serving our homes, our places of worship, our schools, and our communities sets an example to others and tells the world that through service that we become those rays of white light, which break apart into all of the colors of the rainbow. One little piece that I find really interesting is that our symbol of the rainbow refers to the promise of God to Noah that he will never again destroy the world by flood. I've read about flood myths in other times and places all over the world. I've always wondered how people all over the world have stories of floods that destroyed everything, stories that go back thousands of years. There is the famous Greek flood story called the Deucalion myth, and where Deucalion, the son of the titan Prometheus, begged Zeus not to destroy the world by a flood. But Zeus didn't listen. He took Prometheus' advice to build an ark with his family, just as Noah did in the Bible. There is also a flood story from Finland when a hero named Väinämöinen builds a boat on top of a mountain while the devil hits him with an axe and floods the world with blood. This is also similar to the story of Noah and the flood. There is also another story in ancient Ireland where a female leader named Caesar, granddaughter of Noah, arrived at the shores of Ireland to escape the flood that is coming soon to destroy everyone. She leads a group of travelers to the Irish Isle, and they arrive 40 days before the flood. The flood destroys them all except for a man named Fintan, who becomes a salmon to survive, and later tells the Irish people the history of their creation. One of the oldest stories is the story of the flood in ancient Sumeria, where a hero named Utnapishtim built a boat and saved his family and many animals from a flood that destroyed the world. There is also a South American legend of a man named Bochica who taught the people of Colombia to not depend on the gods. His wife, Hoyhaka, was angry and prayed to the god of water, Chipchakun, to flood the earth. But Bochica climbs on a rainbow and tapped the rocks with a scepter to part the waters. There is also a flood myth of the Lakota Sioux peoples. It's about a water monster named Uktehi who fought the people and caused a flood. The people retreated to a hill, but the water swept everyone away. Uktehi was turned to stone, punished by the gods for causing a flood, and her bones are now in the Badlands. Wambly Galishka, a giant eagle, was able to save one single girl from the flood, and the eagle made the girl his wife, and they repopulated the earth. These stories are significant because these ancient cultures never met each other, nor did they know each other existed, but they all had stories very similar to the Bible flood story, which may indicate that at some point the world was flooded everywhere. The story of Bochica was interesting to me because it mentioned the rainbow, which is the symbol of my organization. These flood stories may all have a scientific significance because of the Younger Dryas period of the Ice Age. It began 12,800 years ago with a 10 degrees Celsius cooling period and ended 11,600 years ago with a rapid 10 to 15 degree Celsius warming. This warming at the end of the Younger Dryas caused the North American ice sheets to melt, which rose sea levels quickly and flooded 10 million square miles of land on the American continents alone. This relates to all the flood stories seen around the world because science has found evidence for this great flood. In North America, there is evidence of melted ice that tore away land, such as the channeled scablands in eastern Washington, dry falls in northeastern Washington, the Camas Prairie current ripples, and the Potholes Cataract. Another interesting point that makes this phenomenon appear bigger than just the Americas, hidden beneath the Hiawatha Glacier in Greenland, is a 31-kilometer wide impact crater. The crater was left when an iron asteroid that was 1.5 kilometers across crashed into Earth, which some researchers believe happened roughly 13,000 years ago. This was around the time when the world was thawing from its last ice age. A small group of scientists proposed that what invoked the Younger Dryas was an impact of one or more of these comets. People who are proponents of a Younger Dryas impact now feel that the Hiawatha crater may be great evidence to support it. This evidence also shows that there was likely a worldwide flood more than 10,000 years ago. This is definitely within the time frame of our modern human memory. So what does this all mean? There is evidence across the entire world that there is a rapid and major flooding at some point 12 to 13,000 years ago. Modern Homo sapiens lived all over the world as well during that time. This means that they all experienced these catastrophic floods and then told those stories to their surviving descendants. Different people attributed the flooding to different reasons, but these stories are still similar in what happened and what happened after. And many people attributed the rainbow as a symbol of hope and promise after a time of terrible devastation. I hope you learned a little bit about rainbow, what the rainbow means to me, and why it's such an important symbol for different peoples all over the world. Through the symbol of the rainbow after the flood, we can learn that we all share a similar story, no matter where we come from. And just maybe that can help us to unite us all as one people living on the same planet. Thank you for your time.
So how fantastic was that, right? Like, was that more esoteric than a lot of the stuff that you get in your Blue Lodge sometimes? I think it was really interesting. And to know that it comes from our youth groups who are starting to think about philosophies and things. Joe, can I invite you up here to say just a little bit about Maribel's presentation? Or sorry to put you on the spot. It's just that you're the best person to tell us a little bit about Maribel since she's not here with us.
Well, I don't want to. Well, thank you. I don't want to take any of her thunder away. So when we asked her to speak at Esotericon, for those that attended, we love our youth groups, and for those that actually went the first year, you saw an army of rainbow girls that made sure you were fed and made sure you got to your seat and made sure you wanted for nothing. And so we wanted to ask them for a little bit more this year and ask them to actually put a presentation together. So we found probably the most erudite and esoteric rainbow girl we could, and she happened to live in the same house as me. And I asked her to put something together about rainbow, and she on her own, with no help from anyone, came up with that, and my mind was completely blown, which means she's probably in my library too much, reading a lot of things that I do as well. Yeah, people that know her and have met her know she has a very keen mind, and she is into a lot of the same weird things that Dad is. Yeah, this was all her own work. I only helped put the slides together, and Yeah, she did a phenomenal job. So for those that have the opportunity to meet her, she will talk your ear off for hours upon hours about some of this wacky stuff, some of this tangential stuff that we talked about yesterday. So, but yeah, thank you for listening. I tried to FaceTime her so she could say thank you, but mom's not home, so I think she's still sleeping. So thank you again, and I really appreciate you taking the time.